what's up? It's your dude, Biz by Josh, coming at y'all live and direct with another episode of Card Notes. Hope y'all blessed, hope y'all good. Right now it's Sunday, my time, so, just outside, getting a little bit of sunlight, get some clarity, reflecting on my last week, just really centering in for this following week, just because I got a crazy schedule. Got work the first 3 days, and I got to fly out to North Carolina to meet with some of my good brothers just to reconnect and bond, as well as lock in for this marathon next Sunday, which I'm extremely excited about. Myself and my brother were preparing a long time for this, so it's going on about 8 months of preparation. So yeah, I'm excited for sure. But y'all, I wanted to lock in really quick today, just wrap with y'all. Really about taking the time to center yourself and plan your moves, right? I think we talked a couple of times about, really make sure that you're planning out your days, like holding yourself accountable, but really just taking some time to breathe, y'all. I find myself now that, I got a lot of stuff going on, my schedule has been really busy, especially for the last, I'd say 7 years of my life, and it's been really cool because there's been a lot of ups and downs and moments that really I didn't necessarily know what was going to happen, right? So, for myself, just taking the time to breathe has been so important, and learning how to breathe even in the midst of tough situations is really what gives birth to phenomenal ideas and the next level of you as a human being, which is really what I want to talk about today. So, just to share a little bit about myself, I work in a couple of different spaces. Primarily, my work for the last 11 years of my life is centered around nonprofit, with a couple of excursions into, tech companies, which is now pivoted me back directly into working with nonprofit organizations, oddly enough, which has been very funny and it's been very crazy. So, I've been in that space for quite a bit of time. I transitioned into the tech space a couple of years ago, working primarily as a development rep and then scaling into an account exec role. Right now, working directly with nonprofit organizations. But, for myself, in addition to that, I also work as a case manager for some high schools out here in Oakland as well. As y'all can tell from my accent, I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from the East Coast, grew up between the South Bronx as well as the city known as Waterbury, Connecticut. Shout out to Grass City. But yeah, for me, I realized there were so many moments in my life where taking a breath was the reason why I was able to do what I'm doing right now, right? And I know I'm taking a lot of time to get to this point, but like 3.5 minutes in, so I'm gonna just get right to it. One of the first breaths I had to take probably about 5 years ago was when I was homeless. I first moved out here to California, right? I originally moved out here for a position that was only going to be paying me like $25,000, $30,000. So I moved out here right after school. I was 22 years old, and I moved out here thinking I was going to take over the world. I read so much about Oakland. I read about the Panthers. I was like, yo, it's revolutionary central. We about to move out here and do some damage. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yo, we about to get it cracking. But, for myself, ended up moving out here. Was staying in this little dormitory situation. Ended up, that whole situation ended up going left. I'll explain what happened with that in another video. But long story short, ended up homeless. Was out on my butt for about a good 11 months. Was homeless in August of 2019, and then didn't get another place until the middle of July of 2020. So about 11 months living out of my car, living out of hotel rooms when I could afford it. But for me, it was such a low moment. I remember there were so many times where, mind you, it's like at this point in time, I got this car that I can't afford. I'm literally doing DoorDash just to be able to pay the car note on this car, and can't really afford it. Literally just doing that just to be able to eat a little bit. Trying to get other jobs, just trying to get my situation together. It's not happening whatsoever, right? And it was tough because for me, at my lowest, at the bottom, at least what it felt like, it was really like, dang, bro, like, I'm really, really, really passed out right now. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get out of this situation. Because here's the thing, like, I had spent so much time being like, working my butt off, doing these things, thinking that I was really moving the needle, but the reality was, yeah, I was learning and acquiring certain skills, but I thought I was further along than where I originally was at. Me being 22, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'll be getting this money. I'm gonna have a good situation. And it's like, bro, you just at the start of your career. You don't really have any real skills just yet. You still need to build into that. You still need to set yourself up for success. And man, I remember the lowest point for me was when somebody broke into my car. Somebody had broke one of my back windows, not on this joint, but on my other whip. That I no longer have, but was able to get rid of that joint, thankfully. Somebody broke into it. Somebody took my bag that had my laptop, which was the only thing that I had owned at the time, really. Like, I think I had a handful of clothes that went in my trunk, but other than that, I was pretty much, that was it. Like, that $100 laptop that was just completely gone. And I was riding around with this this window broken in the back, and I was sleeping outside, and I just remember hearing like dudes just coming down the street, just breaking windows, going into cars. And I'm laying back, and I'm just like, yo, they really breaking into these joints. And it's like they going down the road one by one. They start at the top of the street. I'm probably like somewhere closer to the middle, and it's like a semi-long street. But I'm laying back because it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark, you know what I mean? And I'm just sitting here like, yo, they about to break into this joint, aren't they? And literally, I hear them probably maybe like a car or two away from mine. They're really close. And literally, all I hear is just somebody just back, hey, yo, that joint already broken. I know they talking about mine, most likely. So I'm getting ready to sit up, thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to fight for my situation. I don't know what they got. I don't know what they holding. I don't know if they have any weapons, but I'm just a sitting duck. So, I grabbed what I could at the time, and literally, like, I'm just preparing myself mentally for the situation. And then all I had is, after one of them said that, the other one of them was just like, oh, no. There go that BMW over there. Let's hit that. So they go right by my car, probably like a few cars up, and then they break into that joint and take whatever was in the backseat of that, and then they just bounce. And for me, I was relieved, but literally after I heard them leave, I just started crying to myself, y'all. I just started crying to myself because I was like, bro, how did I get into this situation? How did I get into this situation? I moved out here to a whole other coast where I don't know anybody aside from my girl, who's still my girl at this time. But she was staying with her fam. And she didn't really know my situation like that until probably like a couple months later, which I'll speak about in another video as well. But I just started crying because I'm like, yo, I don't know how I got in this situation. So, fast forward. At this point in time, I had just started like working out. I remember the day I had started like really like developing and like working on my body and really wanting to be healthier. It was August 27th, 2019. And the only reason why I was even up in the gym at that time was because it was the only place where I could go and shower for the cheap. That's as real as I could put it. It wasn't because I wanted to even really get in better shape. It wasn't because like I wanted to, find something to distract myself. It was genuinely because I did not want to stink. that is it. That is really it. And, you know, for myself, I realized looking back, being able to take the time to even just sometimes make those decisions and reflect is so important, bro. Because like even now, like fast forward 4 or 5 years later, still working out. I went through this like crazy period where it's like I had started when I was like 215, didn't really have too much muscle. It was kind of like skinny fattish. I was in decent shape, but like, you know, I could have been in better shape. Then got to a point where I had gotten as big as like 285 after a few years, and I'll speak about a lot of those experiences as well. But now being back down to 215 after losing all that weight, that was a journey that, oh my goodness, that's what kind of got me to this point right now where I even feel comfortable being on these videos, because I've tried to do this so many times. I've tried to talk and like have these videos so many times. I've had this idea for card notes for years, and I sat on it because I'm like, dang, bro, like ain't nobody gonna want to watch that, ain't nobody gonna want to be a part of this, ain't nobody gonna want to see that, nobody want to see you, like all these negative thoughts, all this negative reinforcement in my mind, thinking that, you know, like not realizing that if other human beings are doing exactly what it is that you say you want to do, what's stopping you from doing it? Like I was just in my own way, right? But you know, I say all this to say that you never know how life is gonna move you. You know, there were a lot of experiences that I went through when I was homeless, sleeping in my car, that literally are the propelling force for why I do what I do today, right? And why I work as hard as I do, or why like I reflect and like I strive to be, you know, a better human being every single day, mistakes and all. And I just, you know, I got to give it up to God, because, you know, there were certain positions that I was put in that I was meant to get lessons and blessings out of that I couldn't account for. And you're not supposed to, right? You just got to be doing what you're supposed to do. You have to control your controllables. So, you know, I say all that to say, I don't want to make a crazy long video. I think the last two that I've done were like 20 minutes. I'm going to see if I can get these on the 15th from now on. But I'm just saying this because there's probably somebody who's going to watch this who's in that same exact situation. There's probably going to be somebody who's watching this and they got a kid involved. It's not just them, right? Or, you know, you're in the middle of like transitioning from jobs and you don't necessarily know where you're going to get your money from. You know, I say this because it's like you gotta stay locked in on the process, right? You gotta stay locked in on the process, and you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. This is just me telling you to just take a breather and understand you're not doing anything wrong, okay? There's stuff you could be doing better, but this could just simply be where you are at this point in time, and you are transitioning into your next phase, right? And this is just simply a stepping stone, and there's a certain test you have to go through in order to get testimony. It's just what it is, right? So, you know, just continuing to remember that. You know, I appreciate everybody for tapping in on this. Like I said, these videos aren't crazily structured, but, you know, I did want to, like, share a little bit about myself. Chances are I'm going to have to go back and make a lot of these videos over again because not too many people are going to see them. But the goal of these videos are to get to about, you know, 100 videos, right? I just want to get to 100 videos, just staying consistent, just so I can say that I did it, right? And, you know, even just taking the time to realize, like, hey, look, it's okay to, you know, for these videos to not be perfect. It's okay for them to not have the best audio. It's okay for them to not have the best visual component or best quality. Like, you are learning this process, right? And you have to give yourself the opportunity to take the beat and understand, hey, look, you are just simply a man in action, striving to actually build something out for yourself. And you don't know what's going to come from it. So I encourage everybody to do the same. Like, understand, like, look, take your time, take your breathers, you know, learn how to take a step back and really examine, like, what's really happening in your life. You can get a lot more done than you think you can in 1 year, and you're probably going to get a lot less done than you think you can in 1 week, right? You gotta trust the marathon game in all of this. Like, life is a marathon. Like, we're not meant to get it all figured out in 1 day or 1 week or even a month or even a year, right? There's certain things that are gonna take you longer than that, and that's okay. You just gotta keep learning. You gotta keep striving. You gotta keep moving forward. You can do it. It's just you gotta know how to take those times and take those breaths for yourself. You know, take that rest. Go on that walk. Go take that meditation. You know what I mean? Even when the situation is tough, still take that time for yourself. If you at a job and you get like 5-10 minutes to go sit in your car, go sit in the break room, or go sit in the bathroom, wherever you can get some peace for yourself, trust and believe, like, yo, take that time to recenter yourself. These jobs are not worth your mental health, right? Prioritize making sure that you are the best version of yourself, so you can not only show up for the people around you, but you can show up for yourself. That's what it's all about. But that's all I got for y'all today. That's all I wanted to talk about. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and drop your stories down below too. I'd love to hear from folks. You know, just strike up conversations. You know, just keep it positive. All right, like I'm gonna keep it real. Like, if I see some stuff to where like people are going back and forth talking crazy to each other, you will get recorded. I will delete your comment. Like, I'm not here for that. We're not going to do that on this channel. But yeah, quite frankly, like, look, like, you know, I would love to hear from folks. And again, if you think I can improve upon any of these videos, or if you feel like they should be more structured, yeah, drop me feedback. Let me know how I can improve. Like, at the end of the day, I'm at the beginning of this journey here, so I want to learn as much as possible. But yeah, again, that's all I got. Appreciate y'all. One love, one life. What's up? Sir.